right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call right here on Pittsburgh CW. It's the Bordas & Bordas hotline, which is 412-575-2600. Get on the line. Let us know what you have to think about and say concerning Pittsburgh sports, and you can do it right now. You can also tweet us at KDPomp, at Paul Zeiss. We'll begin with the Penguins, who played last night, and boy, defense is something kind of a foreign concept in Pittsburgh right now. We don't see a lot of it in any sport. Paul Zeiss, I want to get your take on that. Paul, of course, had a big show tonight for 4 hours on The Fan. You can also read him in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. But the Penguins show you, once again, they still are pretty stacked offensively. And if you give them opportunities, they're going to make you pay. The problem is and it's only one game, so I don't want to draw too many conclusions. But odd man breaks were a problem for the Penguins last year, and they gave up a ton of them last night to Washington.
Yeah, they did. They had some bad turnovers. I mean, the goal that really got the Capitals back in the game, the Oshie goal, was set up by Malkin. I mean, they've got to play better. But one thing I would say, and there's a little bit of caution here, Washington's really good. I mean, they're one of the few teams that probably can match the Penguins skill for skill, if you really think about it. I mean, they've got a lot of good players, really good offensive players. They're a hard team to play against. So that's not an excuse, but it is. Let's wait 5 to 10 games, or there's a different cross-section of games they're playing before we make any, come to any conclusions. I will say this, a little more concerning to me than all of the chances they gave up, because I think those are things that they can tighten up a little bit. I thought Matt Murray gave up at least 2 soft goals, maybe a third that he probably should stop. That, to me, should be a little bit of a concern.
Especially after last season. Right. He didn't have his best season.
Right.
His save percentage was down in the playoffs. He wasn't as good. And then again, he set the bar very high by winning back-to-back Stanley Cups in his first year on the job, basically. So there is still a lot of time. This team is deep. We'll see how it goes. But it should be a fascinating season. In the NHL, there are a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference, too.
You know, I was at the game last night. I, obviously did the post-game and stuff because I was doing it for the Post-Gazette. But what I was going to say was I thought it was interesting what Matt Murray said about the boards. Did you see?
Yeah, that's something league-wide.
Yeah.
It's kind of been a story that not too many people are talking about. But it was a bouncy board.
It was. It was a little different. And the first goal, actually, the Capitals' first goal was a product of the boards, if you think about it. So that could be something that takes a little getting used to, too.
But Chris Letang, had a rough first period, I thought, but he bounced back the way he can. He loves games like that. 2 goals, an assist. He was all over the ice offensively, but there were some defensive breakdowns. But again, it's one game. They have the Montreal Canadiens in town tomorrow. The Penguins are going to be a factor all the way through, which is certainly good news, and they have the longest current streak of consecutive playoff berths at 12, and that should likely go to 13. 412-575-2600, the Steelers in action against the Falcons. These are 2 wounded animals here, Paul. You got the Steelers, who were predicted to be in the Super Bowl, and the Falcons, who were predicted by many to be in the Super Bowl. And here they are, 1-2-1, 1-3. Something's got to give. What do you think?
The thing about the Falcons, too, is they really on defense are beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, here's my thing. If the Steelers can't win this game, I don't know if they're going to I don't know what this season's going to become. And I don't mean that because, the Falcons have a lot of firepower on offense. I know that. But their defense is terrible. Steelers are at home. It's a little slower track than what the Falcons are used to playing on, obviously, because of Heinz Field. To me, you got to win this game.
I think they have to. Yeah, I do. Not that you can't overcome it because it's happened before, but the odds continue to get increasingly difficult to do. If you go 1-3-1 with a game at Cincinnati after that, and Cincinnati looks to be for real.
I threw this out real quick. I threw this out on the air. If they lose these 2 games and go 1-4-1, don't you trade Le'Veon Bell at that point?
Well, at that point, I don't think there's any salvaging the season, and the odds would suggest that. So it would depend on what the offer would be.
I think if they're 1-4-1, to me, I'd go trade
the
them.
worst case scenario, you're going to get a 3rd-round pick compensation, but not until the year 2020. So therefore, if you can get anything that's better than that, and quite frankly, if you look at a player of his talent, you see Josh Gordon was given away for a 5th-round pick, and what he did last night, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He caught a 37-yard touchdown pass from Tom Brady, and that's going to be a big steal for the Patriots, and they even gave him a 5th-round pick. So some team might be desperate enough. You got to wait for injuries too.
Pretty hilarious if the Patriots traded for him, but the Steelers wouldn't.
They wouldn't do that.
But go ahead.
All right, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about college football, whatever you want to talk about. Let us know. We have high school scores at the bottom of the screen on the Bordas & Bordas ticker. That's coming up when we come back. Tune in at 11 o'clock for all those high school highlights and more. We'll take your calls next right here live. Pittsburgh CW, it's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, Pittsburgh's #1 home exterior expert in roofing, siding, windows, and gutters.